I get to talk about Sonic Unleashed for my assessment? Welcome to another university assignment that I've posted onto YouTube for the world to see. This video contains spoilers for Sonic Unleashed, a game that released in 2008. Is this warning even necessary? Anyway, I'm here to tell you why the Sonic Unleashed intro cutscene is the best piece of animated Sonic media to ever grace my unworthy peasant eyeballs. In order to understand Sonic Unleashed, we must first understand the lore. The game opens to Sonic absolutely decimating, slaying, filleting Eggman's entire fleet of spaceships. Just when Sonic seems to have Eggman backed into a corner, Eggman pulls a Uni-Reverse, ensnares Sonic in electric bindings, and extracts the energy of the Chaos Emeralds from him, firing it into Earth to awake Dark Gaia, who is essentially the god of destruction. As he does this, the Earth splits apart, but more importantly, Sonic turns into a werehog! Yeah! Eggman ejects Sonic from his ship, leaving him to fall to Earth, and the game begins. In the actual game, you follow Sonic and his new amnesiac bestie Chip as they explore the world, trying to find Chip's memories and piece the world back together. Back to my first topic, I will be analyzing how and why the Sonic Unleashed intro uses the 12 principles of animation to make one of the most incredible animations to ever grace the earth with its presence. But what are the 12 principles of animation? According to everyone's favorite company, Adobe, the 12 principles of animation were introduced by Disney animators Ollie Johnston and Frank Thomas in their 1981 book, The Illusion of Life. It is the culmination of the work of Disney animators since the 1930s. Look at the examples on screen. There's no way I'm explaining them all in detail, tee-hee. Let's get started. In this scene, we start with a slow pan of the Earth and Eggman's spaceship. Staging! But that's boring. I want to see Sonic. Close enough. But already we see some very good animation. The camera swings around to view Eggman from a low angle, using staging to exaggerate Eggman's power and evil nature. It also uses slow in, slow out to make the camera movement extra smooth. He also squashes and stretches as he leans forward in a surprise. This is also timed very fast to exaggerate his surprise. But what is Eggman surprised about? It's Sonic! Yeah! Sonic, 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 Sonic! That blue hedgehog again, of all places. This is staged very nicely, highlighting Sonic by slapping him in the center of the screen with the cool fire in the background. This is emphasized by solid drawing, which is the one principle of animation that I think I should actually explain. According to this article by Jay Jackson from animationmentor.com, solid drawing refers to the ability to make a 2D character appear 3D, giving it weight, depth, and balance. While it originally referred to drawing, it still applies to 3D animation, particularly in posing. The article discusses having a good line of action to give the pose clarity and direction. The simple fact that asymmetry looks good in a pose, making clear silhouettes, twisting in poses, and finally counterpose or tilting hips and shoulders in opposite directions 2 balanced characters. Well, that was a lot. You know what? You need a break. I'll tell you a joke. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish! Back to Sonic. This pose has a very nice silhouette, making good use of asymmetry and balance. This pose also creates appeal, further amplified by the cool as hell fire blazing behind him. Now the camera zooms in and swings around Sonic to his back. Slow and slow out. From a lower position, making everything seem bigger. This staging shows the magnitude of the task Sonic has ahead of him. We now rush into action as the timing quickens. Gotta go fast. And the robots ascend from the floor with a surprising amount of squash and stretch, secondary action, and follow through. Now Eggman raises his arm dramatically, building anticipation, throwing it forward, stretching in an exaggerated manner. Sonic breezes through the explosions, squashing and stretching. With each cool, appealing explosion, he smashes through the robots in a series of arcs, flying into the air for a moment. The slowdown in timing gives the audience a chance to breathe after all that cool action, while building anticipation for him to fling back into action. He slows down once again to highlight his narrow dodge. Solid drawing is also used here with a great line of action, asymmetry, and counterpose. Whoa, Eggman's jump down was so cool. But why? That slow timing at the top of the arc builds some incredible anticipation as he comes crashing down quickly, bringing into gunslinging action at a menacing low camera angle staging. Sonic's jump is also cool. He first stretches up and squashes to build anticipation for his big jump that's in a lovely arc. Eggman's face also stretches as he looks up at Sonic angrily. Exaggeration. Through this whole part, we can see Sonic squashing and stretching to exaggerate his narrow dodges of the arcing missiles. Pairing with timing, he stretches out to really exaggerate his speed as he makes his escape. More TV. When Sonic is caught, you can see secondary action as he turns his head, as well as his face squashing as he concentrates. You know, Super Sonic looks really cool here. You could even say appealing. You also get some cool secondary action of the debris flying out as Eggman ejects his pod from the machine. It shows Eggman's desperation and makes it seem like he's running out of options and everything is falling apart. Literally. Like, actually literally. Throughout this whole part, there's a lot of racing. So in order to make them look faster, gotta go fast, they start slow and accelerate to a very high speed, flying off screen, making great use of slow and slow out, timing and staging. Eggman's failure is shown really well here. Involves Eggman's pod wobbles as well. Secondary action, which really exaggerates his struggle to escape from Sonic and builds anticipation. When he falls out, Eggman's face comes right to the screen. like he's practically jumping out at you. This is some excellent staging, as it makes the viewer feel more involved. And it really shows Eggman's facial expressions and emotions in that time. But we're not done yet. In a brilliant display of exaggeration, Eggman squashes and stretches to bounce in lovely timed arcs to really make the ultimate skill issue L plus ratio fall. His Eggmobile, stop, drop, and rolling is just the icing on top. In case you can't tell, this is my favorite part. I love it so much. It's so good. I swear to God, this is the best scene. Now pay attention to the staging here as Sonic triumphantly bursts out. Sonic is up high and Eggman is on the ground, which means Sonic has the power over Eggman. As Eggman begs for his life, instead of doing so the normal boring way, he has many exaggerated gestures that make excellent use of follow-through, anticipation, squash and stretch, timing, staging, overlapping action, and secondary action. That is literally over half of the principles of animation. His moustache moves so nicely thanks to the secondary action and overlapping action to move following the body, as well as the timing and follow through to keep moving when the body stops. The timing is also used here to show his panic that he has been cornered, with his movements having fast, erratic timing, further exaggerating his panic. Squash and stretch is used. Each movement of the body has been squashed and stretched in little bounces of secondary action. That adds just that little oomph to really exaggerate these movements and build anticipation for the next movement. I am truly in awe. These animators are literally gods. Next part, because this video was taking forever. This shot of Sonic is really cool. But why? How will we know? There's no way we can know. A solid drawing. Sonic is posed very nicely throughout this small part. You can see that even when he is standing in a fairly neutral position, he oozes confidence. His chest pushed out, legs tall and straight, his eyes narrowed, his smirk confident. His pose also has a clear line of action. In the next pose, you get some lovely asymmetry and counterpose as Sonic tilts his head down to look down on Eggman, turning his body and gesturing towards Eggman with one hand. It is also a very clear pose with a distinct silhouette. From just these two simple poses, it makes excellent use of solid drawing to give Sonic so much character and appeal. Oh no! Eggman just caught Sonic in a shocking and unforeseen turn of events! As this happened, staging is used masterfully here to perfectly encapsulate the instant change of power. Now Sonic is the one on the ground, and Eggman literally rises on a platform, indicating the change in power. That is also something Eggman would do, by the way, as he's an egotist that enjoys looking down on others. Character in the video. Timing is also used well with Sonic as he turns in quick, short bursts of movement, which effectively express and exaggerate his surprise and panic as his surroundings move to imprison him. This whole scene really builds up to a climax in Eggman's power, as Sonic actually dying. Eggman is cackling as he ascends to God, all building up to an explosive, dynamic pose. This ain't about him. I would say this is timing, stretch, exaggeration, and solo drawing. Eggman's limbs explosively stretch outwards. He has an exaggerated, back-breaking line of action and a very clear silhouette. The timing further exaggerates this by making it fast and explosive. He changes to look down at Sonic, which is just perfect. He is so evil and I love him for that. We stan a corrupt queen. Yes, queen, slay Sonic. Sonic also squashes and stretches. Here, you can see him slowly compressing inwards, trying to gain control over Eggman's binding electricity that overcomes him. His body stretched outwards, and his Chaos Emerald privileges revoked. This staging is also very nice. Sonic is highlighted with lighting in the center of the screen, making him the focal point. But Eggman is above him, looking down on him from the shadows, really highlighting his powerful, villainous nature. Eggman, your animation is so gorgeous. I swear to God. Eggman's face stretches to exaggerate his triumphant laugh and squashes with his evil hand-holding. Also, secondary action as he wiggles his fingers in anticipation. Exaggeration strikes again with some incredible staging of the camera moving with the hand, slamming the button in the most over-the-top way imaginable. It expresses Eggman's character so well. He is a very flashy man, and I love him for that. This excessive exaggeration is very good for this scene, as it climaxes to Eggman splitting the entire Earth apart and awakening an evil god from its million-year slumber. I'm going to skip ahead just a tad due to time running out, but there's a lot of good staging here, and Dark Gaia moves an art. Now to Sonic. The transformation scene is so epic awesome sauce. The staging that only shows small glimpses of Sonic transforming at a time does very well to build anticipation for his big glow up. Secondary action is also everywhere. His constant struggle in the electricity as he slowly reaches out to nothing. His eyebrow ridges twitching, his quills shaking, the individual pieces of fabric moving as his hand tears his gloves apart. His head and face still moving despite being blurred. And this final roar? An incredible climactic reveal after all that anticipation was built. And that secondary animation is so gorgeous, spectacular, beautiful, Slay Queen girl boss appeal. Anyway, staging my beloved. Despite Eggman being further away, the focus is drawn to him by using brighter lighting on him and darker lighting on Sonic. The focus is also drawn to him as he does fast, exaggerated poses, while also adding a layer of mystery and unease to Sonic's new appearance, as he's not really doing anything except for breathing. And as we all know, breathing is really mysterious. The power imbalance is still well conveyed here, as Eggman is still towering above Sonic, continuing to the next few shots as well. Oh, I think I'm done. No, I'm not. I'm just sick of pointing out every single principle of animation. I've said enough. So now it's your turn. see if you can find the principles of animation as Eggman yeets Sonic into the abyss. Discuss in the comments. Give me engagement.
The entity that was sealed within the planet has awakened. Now I just need to harness its power. Eggman Land will finally come to be.
You've really gone and done it this time, Eggman.
Ah, Sonic, that's a good look for you. Festive. So long, friend.
Okay, now that we've gone through that, there's a really good detail where Sonic actually flinches slightly when Eggman slams the bench saying, "Festive!" It's very good attention to detail, and it shows that Sonic is actually scared of Eggman after what he just did, which is a side of Sonic you don't often see, which gives him even more depth and appeal. Okay, I'm done. I'm fine. Actually, no, I'm not done. Now that the video is basically over, I'm going to tell you why I didn't tell you about pose-to-pose and straight-ahead action. So one principle I didn't talk about, and for good reason. Pose-to-pose is drawing key poses and filling the in-betweens, while straight-ahead action is just drawing the animation as you go continuously. With 3D animation, you usually key in the poses, and the computer will fill in the rest of the poses. So most 3D animation is pose-to-pose. It's also really hard to tell which one is used without a behind-the-scenes video, so I just couldn't be bothered. Okay, thanks for watching. I'm asleep now. Bye. I'm tired. Bye. Bye. Microphone, begone.